Welcome to Cat's Cozy Games. My name is Vindrake, and I'm joined by Mrs. Cat's Cozy Games herself. Hello.
Hello.
How's it going?
Doing good. How about you, babe?
Well, it feels good to be in this world again. After we spent almost 3,000 hours. Yeah, this is a very special video for us. This is a review of Twistbase in GTNH version 2.8, and what we thought of it after like 3,000 hours of gameplay. Almost. We almost got to that point. And so we've been playing this for like the past year, off and on. And as you can see, we finally got the twist token. And not just one of them. We got two of them.
We got two.
Yeah. I mean, we had to, one for each of us, obviously.
Of course, yes.
And so this thing, if you've never seen this recipe, this is like the end game. In vanilla GTNH, the Stargate is your end goal. In Twistbase, the end goal is beyond Stargate. It is, first of all, you need 50,000 liquid Stargate. So that's like the equivalent of 50 Stargates. You got some Dream Master tokens, 64 of these things, which require a lot of University and Maternity, all this, if you've never played Endgame GTNH, this looks like crazy stuff, right? We're going to actually make the case to you that this might even be like a nicer, easier way to play GTNH than just vanilla GTNH. It makes the grind toward the end game like a little bit more palatable and almost a little bit more like quote unquote new player friendly, in my opinion, which is, it's crazy to say that, right? But that's kind of the way we both feel.
Yeah, it's so true.
And so you've got UXV Flask as well, 100,000 of each tiered part. It looks like a lot, but you get very powerful machines to take care of this for you. And it's a very rewarding feeling. Like, that's the way I felt when I played this mod pack. Like, more than anything else with Twistbase was that it just felt so rewarding. Kat, what were your overall thoughts, like, as we finished it out? Like, your feelings about it, your thoughts about it? Because we don't have much negative to say, really.
No, honestly, I think you said everything I was going to say.
Oh, no, sorry. I didn't mean to take it from you.
I've told Ben before, and I've said it several times in stream, I don't know if I want to play vanilla GTNH anymore. I mean, that might change with, 2.9, with all the changes they're doing. I don't know.
There's a lot of cool stuff coming in 2.9. Yeah, the devs are doing work.
Yeah, they're doing a lot of work. You mentioned that the end game is now more palatable because of Twistbase. And I do know that during Neo Tokyo, when we got to end game, it was a total slog. It was not that enjoyable for you, but it felt really good. And even throughout the game, as we were going, we would spend a lot of time and resources getting these multis, but it was so rewarding and it had such great payoffs that it felt so good. It was very enjoyable.
Yeah, big dopamine rushes. I mean, this right here, the DTPF Mark II. If you don't know what a normal DTPF is, this is one of the best multis in the entire game when it comes to Twistbase. It's disgusting. So, I
mean, as you guys see, like we had like 64 DTPFs right here, and we needed so much like infinity, and it was made worse because we were playing Twist. We needed a ton more, but these were just so slow. And then we get this gorgeous thing.
Oh yeah, what a beauty.
Oh, it was so good. I didn't think it was going to be as good as it was, but oh my gosh.
And for Magic users, they didn't leave you hanging either. There's some really cool stuff for Magic users that we'll go over. You know what? I mean, I think overall it's one of those things where it's like, if you were on the fence, hey, should I install Twistbase or not? I think you should give it a try. I think it's kind of a no-brainer. It's just one jar file. It's super easy to install. And yeah, it complements a lot of GTNH currently in its current 2.8 form. Things are definitely going to change over time. But as of 2.8, yeah, it's fantastic. Before we go any further, I do want to give a shout out to Adidia G, who took charge in putting together a quest page for Twistbase, because this is not in here by default. And these are amazing. If you don't know what all the multis are going into Twistbase, and we didn't know all of them. And so they're like nicely categorized. And some other people put work in. The Big Cheese-ish was a really big contributor as well. I think Annie Pendragon. Yeah. And then, yours truly might have done a quest or two. Yeah, definitely go check that out. There's going to be a link in the description about how to install that quest page. It's also pretty easy to install, like Twistbase itself. And without further ado, Kat, I think we should just go to where things all started and show people what they're going to experience early game, at least, and what's in store for them. And then we'll show some later game stuff, like the really cool stuff.
Okay.
The first thing is actually something we did not actually create ourselves because it wasn't in that version of Twistbase at the time. And that was the large solar boiler. This thing is a beast at making steam. You know, you make like one of these, you can get the steam casings as well for this, and then you can like quad share it. Actually, these like little edges of it actually share. So it's actually not too crazy resource wise. Like especially like late steam, early LV. Like you're gonna have plenty of steam. Like this thing is amazing. I wish we'd had this cat.
Yeah, no, that would have been amazing. I think I remember us having that on GATA.
Yes, so we did a GATA run, and it did perform really well. Like even just one performed really well. So two other things that we didn't make were the steam generator. This is like going to just make normal EU power, like at LV age. Looking at this, I don't know if this is really that worth it. You could try it. It uses the steam more efficiently, basically. And then you've got this for when you get gas or combustion engine, fuel and stuff. And this thing looks like it's really good, but we didn't try it. But, if you want to centralize power earlier in the game, this is definitely a big deal. By the way, if you're enjoying the content, please like, subscribe, and comment. And come watch Cat and I stream on weekdays, Monday and Tuesday at 1 p.m. Eastern, and Thursday and Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern. You can find us on Twitch or on YouTube. Hope to see you there. Now, the next multi, Cat, you had a lot of feelings about. And so did I, because it was the first twist-based multi that we made, and this thing is a total beast. This thing is monstrosity. What did we think about the bricked blast furnace? The mega brick blast furnace.
This was incredibly expensive when we were trying to do it, and it was so painful. We had to grind out so much to get this, and unfortunately, it was kind of it felt bad for us with the timing of it, because right after we got this built, we set up our mob farm, and it really made this like useless at this point.
Yeah, this does okay at making steel compared to the brick blast furnace. Like it's way faster, don't get me wrong. But
it's just nothing on that mob farm.
Just having an infernal mob farm in like the LV or MVH is just going to be way better at steel. And so a mob farm does outshine this, unfortunately. But you know what? I think you should just build it for the cool factor alone. And put it in a desert biome, because I think it looks really good in a desert biome.
It does look really good in a desert biome. The colors really go well together.
Yeah, I think so too.
I still think it's really cool that it looks just like the DTPF, but you're building it like...
Yeah, exactly. It's like this thing right here that you get in UEVH pretty late in the game. And yeah, I mean, it's kind of a meme, right? But it's a fun meme. Now, I'll tell you what was really useful, though, and that was the Eye of Wood. So the Eye of Wood, fashioned after the Eye of Harmony, which kind of gives you like a lot of like the basic dusts. This, if it fails, which has like a 30% chance to fail if you set it up right, it'll give you steam, and a lot of steam, actually. But if you succeed, it will give you like almost one of every dust. Like if I look at Eye of Harmony, it will give you almost all of these dusts. And so some of the really nice dusts that it will give you are like platinum dust, and it'll give you some obscure dust that you might not normally have access to a ton of. Niobium is a really big one as well. This is kind of hard to get. Other obscure dust that you'll just be thankful that you have. And it works just 24/7. You just give it 120, I think it's 256,000 liters of water and lava every minute. And so what that means is with the Everburn urn, that you can get in EV age with these TPV alloy coil blocks with Arcane Infusion with Thaumcraft. This is an easy way to get lava, probably the best way to get lava. And so you could technically make the Eye of Wood, I think in HVH, but it's going to be really difficult to source that lava until you get that Everburn urn. Yeah, I mean, Kat, you were doing a lot of Gregtech stuff, but I think I did mainly take charge of this one. I know you were happy to have this.
Oh, this is fantastic. Some of those dusts are so hard to get, like earlier on, like an HV. So this was really great for like early platinum and stuff.
We do have a tutorial on the channel about how to automate this. I do have like a comment in that video though of you should just use fluid regulators with this setting right here. Every 1,200 ticks, aka every 60 seconds, just send 256,000 liters of water and lava into the thing, and then you'll be having a good time. That's kind of all the stuff that you can do early game. There's not a lot of stuff early game. That's the thing. Where twist base really starts to shine is like the late game, and like maybe toward the end of mid game, like around like LUV, ZPM, UV. You start to feel it. But I will tell you, like if you get into Magic and I definitely recommend getting into Magic with your playthrough if you're any bit interested. Yeah, I definitely recommend getting into Magic. And this was the first time I got into Magic fully. And so I made like a full Magic district over here. I had a lot of fun with this. And there were a handful of Magic multis that I really enjoyed. One of them was this right here. It is the Elven Workshop. And so this can be either a rune engraver or a mana infuser, like throwing stuff into a mana pool. And so basically you could just make recipes and you can, just like throw stuff in, and like it's super streamlined. By the way, this item right here, dual input buffer, this is amazing by itself because you don't really get access to anything like this until way later with something called cribs. But with this, you can actually put in items and fluids at the same time into one hatch. And so what that allows you to do is, if I come down here, you could just use dual interfaces, and you can have, item and fluid recipes that all just go into one hatch. Normally in vanilla GTNH, you're going to have to put it into a subnet is going to have to use storage buses and separate it into an input hatch and then an input bus. And with this, you just have one buffer patch that just solves it all. Kat, I know you messed with these a whole lot. You loved the buffers.
Yes, I really, really do. It's another reason why I'll be very sad if we ever do a vanilla playthrough again.
Those will be missed. Like that. Those will definitely be very, very missed. As far as other multis go, there was a Sky Piercer Tower, which is supposed to like put aspects together to make more complex aspects. As of right now, I can't really like condone the gameplay of this. You have to make like this weird like Terra 1 parenthetical note plus Aqua 1 to get. It's very weird, unless there's something I'm not understanding about this, but I built it anyway because I thought this was really cool looking.
Yeah, it does look so cool. It is a shame we couldn't figure out how to use it though.
Yeah, unfortunately. Same with Primordial Disjunctus, which is supposed to make you sort of like the basic 6 aspects in large quantities. The reason that I don't think that this is worth it is if you get into bees at all, and you're probably going to get into bees, making all of the Essentia bees for every single aspect in the game with Apimancer Drainers, this is kind of just a better way to get all the aspects ultimately. It's simpler, it's more streamlined. I definitely recommend the Essentia bees. I would say that one of my favorites though was this right here. I did an entire video on this one, Industrial Alchemy Tower. This is basically a huge cauldron. And so it really does the cauldron crafting very, very nicely. A lot nicer than the alchemical construct is going to do it. More streamlined. You can multi-amp patch this to give it more power. These nodes that you have to set up have to be very precise. They all have to be 10 exactly when they are energized. And it has to be these 4 elements: Perditio, Ignis, Air. Again, I did put together that quest page. For Arcane Infusion, you do eventually get this. And Kat, I know you were excited for me to build the big Disney castle, as we like to call it.
Yes.
So
I was so excited about this one. This just looks so cool.
Yeah, dude, it really does. Yeah, so I designed this whole Magic District with the idea of this being the centerpiece of the whole thing. And it is a bit of a grind to get this thing, but this will do Arcane Infusion for you. Again, this requires very specific energized aura nodes, and I was a bit off. I was a bit off the mark. So I'm not sure exactly how I would do that. You can multi-hand patch this thing, though. This was amazing. I still use this quite a bit, even though it wasn't the fastest in the world. But if you could get yours working even better than I did, you'll probably get yours a whole lot faster. Kat, there was one other Magic multi that I know you were very excited to watch me make as well. And that was the Bloody Hell.
Yep.
Bloody Hell is just freaking cool from a stylistic standpoint. And so we made the special area for it. And this is really good, by the way, because one, it has a blood hatch. You can put your blood orb in here, and it automatically just provides blood from your LP network. You never have to worry about how to get blood here, etc. As long as you have it in your LP network, you're good to go with this. So that streamlines the process a lot. And again, you can just do input bus and program circuit, and because it has its own special recipes. Yeah, there's 69 pages here, which is very nice. All these different circuit numbers that take it it does different things. It'll do the alchemic chemistry set. It'll do these recipes. It'll do normal blood altar recipes as well. It's pretty much an all-in-one. And what do you think of this one, Kat?
I thought this was so cool. Just, of course, it's great for everything that it does, but it just looks really freaking cool. And it took forever for us to get it fully built, fully tiered, but it was really, really fun. like just watching it. It's like evolution.
Kat, do you want to talk about power solutions in Twist Space? Because there's something amazing that happens in IV Age, kind of around beginning of mid-game. I think you know what it is.
Me to talk about these power solutions.
Well, I can explain how it works, but let's go down to it. So these are lightning spires. The amount of power you get from this is ridiculous. I mean, what were your feelings about the lightning spires overall, Kat?
They were disgustingly amazing.
It basically solved power for a very long time.
Yeah, it's like I feel like just before we hit IV, we were starting to really feel power problems. Not like terrible, but like you could just tell like we needed to do something else. And I think it was Potato kept telling us, you know, check out the spires. And we made them. And it took you a little bit to like figure them out, but these took us far. We didn't have any problems for several tiers.
This will take you from IV Age through to about UHVH. And at which point you can switch over to Naquata Base Fuel Mark III. So that's a big span of time. And basically the way you make these work throughout those ages is you start with one, and then you probably want to scale up to like 20 of these or something like that. Now each one of these, the way it works is you actually put in kind of like a mega apiary. It has like an input mode, an output mode, etc. And you put in lightning rods. These lightning rods that are HV. And you put in up to 512 of these. And so it basically stacks them. And then what it does is whenever you turn it on, activate it, it will generate its own lightning strikes. So it doesn't have to be lightning outside or raining or anything like that. It'll just produce its own.
Which is really cool.
Yeah, which is very, very nice, obviously. So that makes it very reliable, first of all. And then second of all, it does take some fluids. So it does take molten iron, and then it does take gelocryothium, and you do have to give this exact amounts. So you set up something similar to what you would with like Eye of Harmony later on, which is a MEIO port with fluid storage cells set to the exact amount that you want. And you can do that with a cell workbench with the new fluid restriction mode that's in 2.8. And so that's an easy way to kind of get fluid to each one of these. And each one of these, when fully decked out, produces 55 million EU per tick, which is disgusting at IV, to the point that like you're actually struggling to get all the power out of a fully decked out one of these into your LSC. It's almost impossible, actually. This is the thing with vanilla GTNH, is this era of power from IV through to like UV, it can be kind of awkward. There are solutions, power solutions, vac nukes, there's, plasmas that can give you supercritical steam, things like that, but they're a little clunky, they're a little awkward. This is very streamlined, and if you're a person that just likes to set their power and then forget it and do other stuff that you're more interested in, man, this is the route for you, 100%.
I'm very much one of those people.
Yeah. And so this is kind of the big story about mid-game. There are other things that we'll talk about, but that's kind of the big takeaway.
Well, while we're here and we're talking about power, should we go ahead and talk about these things?
Powers of abstraction are, when you had the lightning spire, this kind of pales in comparison, honestly.
Yeah.
So this can hold a bunch of dragon eggs. It's cool stylistically. Passive power. Dragon eggs are really nice. I mean, we use 256 normal Grandmaster. Lightning spire is just way better, straight up. Now, we're probably going to skip over a bunch of things. I do want to give like a special highlight to the advanced circuit assembly line. So this thing is pretty much going to solve circuits for you. This will do like multiple circuits. You have a circuit imprint circuit hatch. This basically replaces your normal CALs or circuit assembly lines. This one will accept 64 amp energy hatch, and you can do multiple circuits in one. If you've ever played with the circuit assembly line, you know what a huge deal this is. Actually insane. So some really, really nice quality of life from Twist Space for things like that. That, in vanilla, spamming a lot of CALs does feel a little awkward at a certain point. So I did want to show off the actual meteor miner, and it uses very little power as well to do this. Yeah, that is disgusting. There are ways to kind of give this fortune bonus as well. It is insane, and it's just fun to watch it go.
Yeah. And it's also really, really nice when you realize last minute, oh God, I really need this one resource, and you're out. Yep. You just go summon a meteor and it's done like super fast. So.
Yeah, this kind of solves resources in a lot of ways in the mid game. And speaking of the mid game, when you get kind of toward the end of mid game, you start to get a lot more twist multis. If we look at the quest page, like when you start to get to like ZPM, UV, UHV even, that's when you start to get like all of your basic processes with a crazy souped up twist multi to complement it. And so, Kat, I think we should head to the twist cave, quote unquote, as we called it. And this was your baby. This was
my baby.
All of this, basically. You made all these.
Several thoughts on some of these things. I guess let's start right here. We've got the Silk Song. I thought this was really cool. But I hated that you were restricted to only having buses here.
It turns out to be okay because you really actually don't end up with any more recipes than this, but it feels a little funny.
Yeah, it feels restrictive, but I could have sworn we were going to run out of room and that I was going to have to make another one of these. So I was very anxious.
Right, you didn't know. Turns out it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, I'm so glad it worked out, but I was like totally anxious.
And a lot like this, along with a lot of the other twist multis, ends up being a case where you have these segments, and the higher you scale them, like the longer you make this thing, the more parallels it has. A lot of times it'll hit a point where it's like, oh, once you get this many segments, it unlocks perfect overclocks, which I mean, that is like crazy souped up compared to what you could do in GTNH, right? Vanilla. So yeah, it's insane.
So we also made use of some like ore processing multis as well. Like this is our macerator, and we have this tied to our like ore processing network. So things like automatically get pulled in and then they get sent out somewhere else. I think it's this one is on our network, and then this one is just like our auto crafting one.
Yeah, exactly.
But you can also tier these up. As you can see, they look a little different because we went harder on one than the other.
Almost all these take multi-amp and lasers at some point.
They're just so good though. Yeah. The ICD, the Intensify Chemical Disorder is an amazing multi, but it was a little weird when we were like first getting it. Just because you have to do like the hatches and stuff like along, I guess like this helix kind of part.
Yes, it's very awkward.
It's awkward. But as you get further in, there are ways to work around that so it's not so like wiry and bizarre.
The recipes for this are broken, by the way. A lot of these recipes allow you to access QFT-like recipes earlier in the pack, like ZPM UV or whenever you get this thing. Which is insane. You know, like you can do polyphenylene sulfide with just one step. You know, pretty much all the platline can be done in here as well at a certain point. There's different like breakpoints for when these things become accessible. Like ZPM here. You know, you need like infinity coil for this, so you know it's definitely gonna be a while before you have access to this particular one for like the Naquata stuff. But yeah, these are broken. This will also do like they can act like a mega chemical reactor as well. It's got two different modes. And yeah, Intensify Chemical Distorter. I mean, I guess I should show real quick before you continue. Yeah, we had a whole room of ICDs dedicated to different things. So, you know, polyurethane resin, so it could do like Kevlar stuff. It could do molten epoxy, PTFE. This will replace a lot of your chemical lines, ultimately. And then QFT does outclass a lot of these, ultimately, but for quite a while, these are kind of goated.
So we also had like the physical form switcher. And this does two modes. You've got fluid solidifier and you've got the fluid extractor. And in vanilla GTNH, you really pretty much do everything with fluid solidification towards endgame.
Yep.
But this actually started kind of being a bit of a bottleneck, even though we had it like completely decked out, fully upgraded. And we ended up swapping over to the magnetic drive pressure former for the extruder. It does bending machine.
Yeah, these are UV. These are insane.
Not forming used press. To flying speed anymore. Yeah, forming press and forge hammer. And these are disgusting with how just great they are. Again, they tier up with different upgrades, but they go so fast. As soon as you can get these, I would get these. I did not expect to enjoy these as much as we did. Like when we got to this point, we were like, oh, maybe we'll just make one. And just be done with it, and we'll use the other ones with the current machines that are there. But this one ended up being so good for the one that it was. We were like, let's just go ahead and make the other ones, and it was amazing.
Yep. A couple other things to note. You've got the centrifuge / electrolyzer over here.
Yes.
Molecular deconstructor. This is like, you can get away with giving this like such lower tier power for a long time, and this will outclass anything you normally get. Like these are insane for ore proc, and just like, passiving, like, processing different dust from your ore proc, etc. Yeah, they're insanely good. I got to give another shout out to the mixer, because this has perfect overclocks right out the gate, I think. Which is disgusting. We actually ended up using this for catalyst for DTPF for a long time. Normally you switch off of that and use the plasma mixer. We used this for that for a very long time. It was actually insane. And so you kind of get the idea, we won't go over every single multi, but you kind of get the idea that like around this age, like ZPM, UV, UHV is where things really, really start to shine. Kat, I have another area that I want to go to, and this is starting around UEV age. I'm going to go to like our fusion ring area, and we're going to go over here. I guess we could talk about the astral computing rave real quick, because this is one of the gripes I have. And this is a bit clunky. So this is supposed to be like a quantum computer.
So cool.
It does look really, really cool. The coolant that you have to give it is a little, it's fine. This is the part that's confusing, because I don't know if there are really any known configurations for like how to maximize this. But basically we just had this off unless we needed it on. The other weird thing about it is this was before wireless data got added to vanilla GTNH. So, but in order to use this particular multi, you have to use this special wireless optical master connector, like this stuff that's like special to Twist. And so this was definitely a big challenge to figure out. You need this circuit to enable the wireless as well. So there's a lot that's unintuitive about this, but this is what I really wanted to show, Kat, and that was the integrated assembly matrix.
Oh, this is so good.
Talk to me about this one, Kat.
So, you know how we started over in our auto crafting area, and you have to make these advanced assembly lines. Mm-hmm. And you have to have quite an array of these for these to like grind things out in a decent enough pace, or you'll be like stuck sitting around forever waiting on like one thing to finish cooking up. The assembly matrices move so much faster.
Order doesn't matter. And then
order doesn't matter.
The slices doesn't matter. Yeah, just insane.
It is so nice. And especially once you get like we got those two. We started out on those two for a long time before we ended up adding these over here to speed things along.
Parallel them.
And once you get the proxies, you can do parallels on all of them, and chef's kiss.
Oh yeah.
It's so good.
So basically you don't have to do dedicated advanced assembly lines or universal assembly lines like you would in a normal vanilla playthrough, which you usually have to really spam those and do some crazy setups. Now there's something rewarding about that in and of itself, but I would actually say for like a newer player to GTNH, this is going to be way easier and feel way better when you get this, honestly.
Yeah.
These are fantastic. By the way, you get this eventually. I think this is like UIV or something like that. I forget. But Ore Processing Factory, this will basically... It says that it'll do an infinite amount, like as much as ore as you give it. That's actually technically not true. Super, super late into the game, you have to actually make multiple of these. And so we actually ended up like making a ton of these over here. I think we have some underground as well. But this is very, very fast. Like when you get this, it's going to be amazing. And this complements really well something called the Star Core Miner. So this is when you get some interesting quality of life around UEV age, something like that. You get this. This is a void miner. You can put this in the deep dark, and you can scale this up with astral arrays eventually. And this will give you a disgusting amount of items. This actually gives you like, I think, 131,000? Yeah, 24 different types of ore, 131,072 of each type. So 24 times 131,000 every 6.4 seconds. And now imagine astral arrays parallelizing that further. It's actually insane. So to the point where like material acquisition is, in a lot of cases in Twist space, definitely solved by Star Core Miner. There's definitely fluids. We'll talk about Universium and stuff like that in just a second that are definitely still challenging, but Yeah, like dusts and stuff like that were just not an issue, right, Kat?
Oh, not at all.
UIVH is where things start to get kind of weird. You do have this right here, the Miracle Top. Kat, you loved the Miracle Top.
I
This is one of your
love the
favorites.
Miracle Top.
This is the ultimate circuit assembly thing. It'll make all the circuits. It is disgustingly fast. You can give it wireless multi-amp power, or wireless.
The recipes are just better. Like
Yep.
it is just so good. As soon as you can get this,
Yep.
get it.
in 2.9, however, there's going to be something called the NAC, the NAC. That is a really special multi-modular circuit assembler that's supposed to kind of solve the problem of late game circuit assembly that plagues GTNH Vanilla at the moment. And so I don't know what they're going to do with the Miracle Top, because this is very easy compared to the puzzle that is going to be the NAC. And I hope that the NAC is emphasized in 2.9, because a lot of work went into that thing. It is crazy good. Now, something else that you did get, and this is where things started to get weird, was if I warp over to Vega B, you have these right here, the Dyson launch site, and then the receiving rays. These are super important because, basically the concept behind a Dyson swarm, if you've ever heard of that, is you have all these little, like, basically satellites that can take the sun's energy and, relay it back through these, like, receiving rays or whatever. And so the idea is that this is going to give you a lot of something called critical photons. And these are used for crafting. You need them for antimatter, which is you're going to use for late game power, end game power. And you also need it for like a handful of other things. These annihilation constrainers, same deal. So you don't make power with this stuff right away, but eventually you make stuff that does let you do power. We'll show that off in a second. But these are kind of complex to set up because you need like a node for every 256 of the little like light receiving things. There's a whole lot kind of to figure out with this. I remember when we started getting over here to this section, I was kind of scratching my head, like, I'm not sure how any of this is going to work. But we did figure it out eventually, and is pretty much required for a twist base for you to figure out how this works. If I come back over to near where the Miracle Door was, Kat, or the Miracle Top, we had the Miracle Door. You remember what this is?
I call the Miracle Flower.
Yeah, dude, I like that a lot. Yeah, it should be called that. It does. It kind of does. I approve. This basically solves the need for mega alloy blast melters. You get this in UMVH, which is really late. So you'll probably need at least like 32 to 64 mega alloy blast melters before you get this. But I believe this does like all the recipes in like 1 second or something stupid like that.
It was pretty quick, and it was so needed.
Yes, very, very much needed. At this point in the game, you're feeling the speed of twist base, and you're kind of snowballing as far as progress goes. The one thing is, Eye of Harmony progression is still very, very present in the game, even with twist base. And when you get to UMV, you kind of get slowed down by Eye of Harmony progression for a while, but eventually you start to snowball again, and you start to feel good about things again. Toward the end of UMV, and we already talked about this, the DTPF Mark II, you get this thing. This actually does do all the recipes in 1 second. I don't think it does all of them in parallel, but this is also when you start to get access to all of these modules that you can put on here, which can increase your speed. Perfect execution was a little bit obscure to me, but basically the idea is like, I think it like runs another instance of this whole machine in parallel, something like that. It just makes everything go faster. Okay, machine go faster. You big brains can figure it out for yourselves. Perfect overclock module. So, perfect overclocks for a DTPF without having to do convergence and use extra catalyst. Insane. Absolutely insane. Cannot say enough good things about this. When you get this, you feel it. Because probably the biggest bottleneck in your base is the DTPFs by the time you're able to construct this. And so when you get this, big, huge dopamine. It's amazing. Now, Kat, I know I've done a lot of the yapping, but there is one more thing to talk about, and it was the thing I was in charge of. And that was the Strange Matter Aggregator and the Artificial Star.
Oh, yeah. Those are pretty important to talk about.
Oh, Kat, talk about ball lightning real quick, by the way.
Yeah, I was about to say, maybe we should talk about this real fast, too. Yeah. Not only does this thing look like absolutely incredible, I love how this thing looks.
It's fun.
This is like your plasma. This is like all of your fusion rings.
Yep.
and it goes so fast. Now there are different modes of this as well, and they like the different tiers do different things.
Arc furnace, plasma furnace.
Yeah. So, and we have these built in like a second part of our twist cave, but this is the main feature. Like this is what you really want to use it for. And it was such a help. Like it was definitely a struggle trying to get all of the plasmas and things together until we got this. This is absolutely fantastic.
Yep, that one felt really good as well. Almost as good as the DTPF Mark II, actually.
Oh, yeah.
So this right here, Kat, while I'm talking about this, would you like to just sort of glide down and show everybody? This thing is, you can look at the pip and see how far it's going to go right there. This thing is ridiculous. This will, I don't think it's working correctly right now, but basically you can provide this MHD CSM and it will make you Universium. And the longer you make this thing, the more Universium it's going to make. There's also a tier 1 and a tier 2 aspect to this. The tier 2 is very difficult to get, but it is possible. You can look in any eye yourself at how crazy that thing is. But yeah, this is going to make you antimatter fuel rods as well as Universium. And so it serves two purposes. You make this as long as it is, mainly to get that Universium, because Universium is one of the hardest parts of the game as far as getting the twist token goes. You don't really want to rely on Eye of Harmony for Universium. You can supplement it, but you want to get your Strange Matter Aggregator online. And this is kind of a big puzzle to figure out how to automate, but you can do it. We actually used SFM with MEIO port cell switching to eventually kind of figure out how to get this. And then we actually ended up making another one in personal dimension.
Just got to the end.
You just got to the end, just now. This thing is over 3,000 blocks long.
It is absolutely insane.
Yeah. The hologram projector kind of breaks when you make this thing as well.
Didn't you have to do this like in chunks?
I did with matter manipulator.
To prevent that? Yeah,
I did. And then this right here, not on at the moment, but this is the artificial star. And this will take the antimatter fuel rods that you make from the Strange Matter Aggregator, and it will make power straight out of them. And it will process as many as you give it. So you kind of want to like stagger the creation of them to like a repeatable point, you know, where you can always keep this going, because it makes more power if you keep it going 100% of the time. And it cycles every 6.4 seconds. And we got to the point where we were making 200 quintillion EU per tick. For reference, a Stargate normal playthrough, you're wanting to make about 2 quadrillion EU per tick, roughly. People might disagree, agree or disagree about that number, but around 2 quadrillion. This was 200 quintillion, so that is like 6 extra orders of magnitude, something like that. More power. So Twist is absolutely disgusting in that regard, and you will end up using like a good amount of that power, but you'll always have surplus. You never have to worry about it again, basically. And so at that point, when we started getting the artificial star online, we started going crazy with the wireless hatches. So we've got like 4.194 million UXB wireless energy hatch. You could just throw it on pretty much every machine at that point. And that's when crazy stuff happens, right? Yeah, you're going super fast. You can pretty much get Stargate at this point like that. Which is why Stargate is not the be-all, end-all, right?
Mm-hmm. I felt so good being able to put all those wireless energy hatches on everything.
Dude, right. No, it was very fun. That was actually a very fun moment in the game. And so, yeah, the final thing, I mean, you had this right here, which makes UU matter and concentrated UU matter. And then you can take that concentrated UU matter and you can bring it over here to the super water purifier, which will give you like all of the waters all at one time.
Which you really needed, especially on the twist run.
Because eventually you actually run into like an integer overflow deal with the stocking input hatches on the normal water line. So you actually do want this eventually. And then the final multi-block that you make in Twist Space, Kat, talk to us about the indistinct tentacles.
I love these.
Of course you do.
I love these so much.
Yep.
These pretty much one tick recipes. Not everything, but very close. We've got a component assembly line. We have assembly line. We have assembler, and then press as well.
Yeah, precise assembler.
And you guys know, Ben at first was like, "Oh, we don't need the one for press. It's no big deal. We don't have to do that one." And I was like, "Are you sure?" And then it totally came up. Yep. We did need it. Yep. So make sure you do all 4 of them, because they are so needed and they're so, so good.
Yep. Every recipe in 1 second, by the way, it's like a flat 1 second. And of course it does a bunch of parallels as well. So yeah, actually insane. Especially when you talk about like actual Stargate parts being crafted in 1 second, like anybody who knows how long those take knows how ridiculous that is.
Well, I mean, think about this, the coal that you get right here and one ticking, when you have to make the twist token, all of the beakers, the little flasks, need so many
100,000
like, parts for each flask. And this just one ticks everything. Which,
or 1 second, but yeah, it's insane.
Yeah,
it's
one
insane.
1 second. Yeah. I mean, it's so good. Now, there's one more multi we have to show off.
Oh, I think I know which one you're talking about. The centerpiece of our base, right?
Yes, the like monument of our run.
Yep. So we had a double helix stone structure here for the longest time because our run was called Double Helix. And we fashioned it around putting this very specific thing. This basically does nanites. It is the deployed nanocore. And this thing, well, it's actually a quad helix, which, you know, kind of ruins the name. Okay, just pretend it's a double helix. All right. And I mean, it's almost instant. This is better than like the tier 4 in vanilla.
Yeah.
So it's insane.
So much so.
In true twist fashion, it's insane. By the way, these are like all different types of compressors as well. So neutronium compressor, normal compressor. This does black hole recipes as well eventually. Like these are incredibly good.
These were really good.
Space scalars, yeah.
I seriously, I don't think there was a single twist multi that I didn't enjoy.
Yeah,
really,
they rarely ever like disappointed. You know,
yeah,
they were that good. Some people will say, that's too overpowered, and you know what? That's totally fair. But if you're up for a good time and something that still requires like, I mean, it was like 2,800 plus hours for us, somewhere around that. So getting the twist token was like probably one of the most fulfilling Minecraft things we've ever done. Ultimately, when we look at it as a whole, and yeah, I mean, I recommend twist based to almost anybody who wants to play GTNH. Honestly, if you're up for like some fantastical multis, which was kind of one of the main drives for us, you know, like these look really, really cool. And to be fair to GTNH, you know, without those devs, this wouldn't be possible, first of all. And, you know, also big shout out to all the devs that worked on Twist Base itself. You all have done a fantastic job. And, you know, to GTNH's credit in general, they are working on more fantastical multis. So if anything, maybe Twist Base has kind of, you know, driven the future of GTNH toward a better direction. I think so. Kat, any other thoughts?
I am so glad you guys know the whole point of Double Helix was a twist of the twist.
Yep.
Not only were we playing with Twist, but we were swapping responsibilities where I would be doing Gregtech and he'd be doing the magic, the bees, crops, all that stuff. And I'm so glad I got to do it with Twist because I feel like that really increased my enjoyment of learning Gregtech and playing the pack to the end. I don't think I would have completed Gregtech without Twist.
I think that's a significant possibility. Yeah. So you know what? It helped us get to the finish line. Helped Kat get to the finish line. I think that's a testimony unto itself, right? So I think we're going to leave it there. Thank you all very much for joining us on this special journey. If you went to any of our live streams, thank you so much for being there. And you know, try it out for yourself. Hope you all enjoy. Take care.
Bye, guys.